secure exchange.
Hi everybody, welcome to High Scores, High Stakes Game of the Month Club for October 2025. I am your host as always, Mr. Luvva, and with me is my co-host.
Happy Halloween! It is I, Tomahawk, for another Game of the Month episode. How are we doing?
I'm very well. I did consider starting with High Scares, High Stakes, but I thought better of it, and then Tom goes into the Halloween mode, so I'm just nothing but a disappointment. My dad was right.
I mean, you got the bunting behind you. It says Happy Halloween, so there you go. It's a spooky podcast done.
There we go. Job's done. It's lovely. It's lovely. Just ignore the closed ran on the radio. They don't exist in this alternate reality. And yes, that voice you hear, dear listener, is indeed GhostKai, because apparently once wasn't enough. How are we, GhostKai, mate?
Yeah, I'm doing all right, mate. How are you guys?
All good. Thank you for coming in. This is actually a lovely pleasure. And you have been streaming Dead by Daylight, if I'm correct in saying so.
I have, yeah. After a few years away from it, I'm back on the horse, and I don't really know if that's a good thing or not.
It may or may not be a good thing. You'll find out at the end of the episode when we put this on the tier list if it is a good or bad thing. Because I am struggling of where I'm placing it on the tier list. I have the tier list written on a page in front of me, and I'm just still sort of drawing arrows here and there and little reasons why it belongs in each tier. I think it's a strange game with some strange foibles, but we'll get that when we get to that. Mm-hmm. So we do. Just a wee bit of housekeeping, and we'll get straight into it. Usually we ask what we're playing and all there, but I don't believe we do that in these Game of the Month clubs. I'm extremely tired this week, gentlemen, in case you can't tell. My mind is...
just start cutting stuff, omitting stuff. No, we don't usually. Nobody cares what we're playing. It's all about the Game of the Month in this instance.
It is. And it is, of course, as Tom says, Dead by Daylight. The original asymmetric horror game, right?
Has to be. Ish. Modern.
It depends how wide the goalposts are for horror. Because you had Evolve as well. You had AVP2, which was asymmetric.
You had AVP, the original, in 1998. Yeah. You had the Horde mode type thing as well.
So that's what I mean. It depends what you consider horror.
It does. I forgot about Evolve.
Yeah, Evolve, absolute flop that was, wasn't it?
And it was decent too.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. And then they relaunched it, didn't they? And then just no one played it.
No one played it. No one's like, no.
Hey guys, we're going to relaunch it 5 years later when people have even forgot it exists. Please play.
It's called Stage 2. It's different, we swear.
We added a new monster.
Unbelievable.
But yes, Dead by Daylight is the order of service tonight. Before we get into that, we'll do our housekeeping. If you have spent 133 episodes listening to this, skip forward 2 minutes. We'll make it very, very quick. If it's your first time, you have no permission to skip forward 2 minutes. You must listen to it. You must persevere it. We are High Scores, High Stakes, a competitive PlayStation podcast. When we're in season, me, Tomahawk, and our other host, Cardinal Smith, compete against one another in a 12-week-long PlayStation Gaming Challenge season. Every week we play a new game and play a challenge in that game. The winner gets 3 points, second place gets 2 points, third place gets 1 point. Whoever is top of the league at the end of the season wins the coveted High Scores, High Stakes Cup. Off season, we talk all things PlayStation, all things gaming. And the last Monday of every month, like today, it's Game of the Month. We pick one game, spend a month playing it, and then come back here and deep dive review it. That is who we are, and that is what we do. But right now, all I want to do is talk Dead by Daylight. I'm not going to lie. I would say I have lots to say about this game, but it is a game I played religiously when it released, dropped it fairly quickly, about 6-7 months after it came out, kind of forgot it existed, and then dip back in every now and again when I remember that it exists.
Yeah.
And it's usually the thing that reminds me is when a killer comes out and it's like, oh, hello.
Oh yeah, they repackage a new map and a new whatever popular franchise is had a reboot or a sequel released at that time. Then
yeah. I actually was watching a YouTube video today about Dead by Daylight, and I totally forgot that there was a Hellraiser pack for this game that you can no longer access.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was not aware.
If you bought it, you can still use it. Because what reminded me of it was playing it last night, and the killer was Pinhead, and I was like, I forgot this existed. I totally forgot this existed.
Fair.
But yeah, that's my history with it. I streamed it for a brave long time in 2017, and then I forgot it existed and stopped playing it. About yourselves, guys?
I started, I think whenever I booted it up at the first time, because it has been free to play from the get-go, if I remember correctly.
No, it was £20, £24.99, something like that.
Yeah.
Then either I
It
must
was
have...
like a double A price, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think I must have paid it and then never like booted it up and then realized I played PlayStation games on a tin can internet connection and quickly fobbed it off. And then basically when we had decided that we were doing it for the Game of the Month, I have just put the blinkers on. I have gone full Dead by Daylight mode on it, and the metaphorical void hooks are well and truly in now. I can't seem to stop playing it. I'm just kind of like learning killer builds, and yeah, I'm having a blast playing this game.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. What about yourself, Kai?
I started playing DVD when it was in beta just over 10 years ago. And I've seen the game go through a lot of iterations. And I used to be really, really into the game. And it's funny you brought up the Hellraiser patch, because that was the patch that killed the game for me. Because prior to that, the matchmaking worked on a very simple principle. Whatever rank you were, you would match with people within that bracket. So back then, getting to rank 1 with like Survivor or Killer was like insane. Like you were really, really good at the game. And like if you were rank 1, you would only you would only matchmake with other rank 1s and like 2 to 4, I think it was. And then when they brought out the Hellraiser, then they brought out this whole idea of skill-based matchmaking.
Yeah.
Right.
But the only metric that actually influenced it was, did you escape as the survivor? And did you hook, I think it was like at least 3 people as the killer. Like, did you kill at least 3 people? So like, if you did that with the killer, your MMR goes up. If you didn't, it went down. And the same for the survivor. You could be a survivor who is an absolute god at running the kill around, and you could literally run the kill around for 5 gens and lose MMR.
So a massively imbalanced.
Completely imbalanced.
Right.
And it took a lot of the joy out of the game for me, because suddenly it became very, very sweaty. And and it was never really, like, don't get me wrong, like there's always been a high skill ceiling in the game, especially on the killer side. But it became very, very sweaty. And it was something I played with friends to like just relax and have fun, you know? And it became this game where suddenly you had to lock in every single game. Otherwise, you were going to, you know, your MMR was going to go down. You'd be playing the baby lobbies, which then is almost harder to rank up again because you got shit teammates. So it was like a complete shift in the way games felt in the game in DBD. Whereas before that, you could have a lot more fun, but still rank up and stuff. And then I basically just didn't really play it. I came back occasionally when they'd release like something awesome, like the Alien chapter. I mean, you guys know I'm a huge Alien fan, so came back for that, bought the DLC, didn't even play as the Alien, uninstalled it. And I've gone through that cycle a few times. And I've basically, not really played it for like what? I don't know when Hellraiser came out, 4 years ago or something like that.
It was about 2020, I want to say, right?
Something like that.
It pulled me back as well, and I didn't realize it changed the skill-based matchmaking, but that was the era of skill-based matchmaking because it killed COD that year as well, and there was a good load of games who the internet rallied against because the matchmaking was absolutely borked from top to bottom.
But yeah, besides coming back occasionally just to sort of put my toe in the door to check out some DLC or something, I've basically not played it since. And it's only in the past, I want to say the last 3 weeks, for whatever reason, it's just clicked with me again, and I'm really enjoying it again. Well, I say enjoy.
I have watched.
Playing it.
I have been watching your streams as well. There's a fine line between enjoying and becoming a tedious experience, and you dance on that line a lot.
I think everyone who plays DVD does.
Definitely.
That's exactly what I was going to say. There is like this fine line between really having a good time with it and having the worst possible time you could ever imagine with it. And a lot of it boils down to the people you're playing with and the person you're playing against. So it's a really strange game. The community and just seems to be all over the place with this game. There's really helpful people. I suppose the same with every game. There's a couple of really helpful people in like the subreddit or on Steam. Steam seems to be where most of the nice people seem to reside.
Yeah.
But then if you ask the question, a lot of your responses will just be horrific. If you don't understand this, you shouldn't be playing the game. What are you doing now? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, man, I'm just trying to understand more. Help. There's a lot in this game. I need help. But no, it's a strange sort of community with this game. Before we get into the talk of it, right, I have distinct memories at the beginning of this game of it being a lot more focused on the horror aspect that's totally absent now. Am I alone in thinking this?
I think it's just because you've played it more. I think when people first start playing DBD, they are... everyone used to call them immersed. And it was like an offensive slang word for a new player. Look at these immersed survivors, and it was because they were scared. They didn't quite understand the game mechanics. They didn't know about looping and stuff. So they hear the heartbeat, they hear it getting louder and coming towards them. They shit themselves, and they're like,
they make frantic decisions and stuff. It's the same thing with like we talked about this in the Phasmo episode as well. It's like that new player syndrome. You panic and make snap decisions based on like the environment that you're in because you're unfamiliar with it. I still maybe get it as Survivor, but the more games you play, you go, oh God, not again. It just becomes a desensitization at this point. Yeah.
But there's always a sense of panic when you're being chased. That still stays. But I remember buying the Freddy Krueger pack. It was in particular Freddy Krueger, and I remember that being terrifying. But I get dropped into a game with Freddy Krueger the other day, and I was like, okay. But just I don't know what it was.
Well, one of the big reasons for that is the artistic style of the game, and especially the color palette, has completely changed.
Yes, it's brighter,
much brighter, and everything has like bold outlines now, and it's not cell shaded, but everything's got this like crisp outline in that, whereas before things would blend into the background, which makes things harder to see, which makes it a bit scarier because a killer can really sneak up on you. Whereas now, like I played a game against Michael Myers the other day, very stealthy killer, he stalks you from afar and that. I mean, back in the day, you would not notice him until it was too late, and that was really awesome. Like you had like jump scare Myers builds and stuff like that, where they would just sneak up on you while you were doing gens. But now, like you see him coming a mile away because he stands out so much now, and even when he's stalking you, you get the like musical score.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
But now I don't think it's a good idea from like the horror point of view, because yes, it's making it fairer, sure, but there's an aspect there of, well, by giving them that musical score, telling them that they're being stalked by him, you've taken all element of surprise, and once you hear that, you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to run.
That's it. Gives you that head start nearly.
Yeah. Instead of like catching him in the corner of your eye and being like, oh no.
yeah. That must be it. I think the general term for like that style of graphics is the Fortnitification of gaming, and it's a really brilliant descriptor for the way this game looks now. It's strange. It's some of it's so oversaturated, where previously it was like really undersaturated and it was really effective. But But it's still fun, and that's, I suppose that's the main thing for any game. Let's get into this one. let's get into this. So, Dead by Daylight is way older than I thought. Way older than I thought. Well, originally released on PC, 14th of June 2016. Originally released on consoles, 20th of June 2017. So it's 8 years old by the stage of the game. Same age as Fortnite. So it is, and it was developed by Behavior Interactive. It is for people who don't know what this game is, it is a 4 versus 1 asymmetrical horror multiplayer game where 1 player is the killer, 4 players are survivors. The 4 players have a really simple job: fix 5 generators, find the opening mechanism for the gate, walk through the gate. The killer has an even easier job: find them, hook them, kill them. And that's it. Really, really simple premise.
At its purest, it's just a simple cat and mouse mechanic, isn't it?
But there's so much in this game.
There's so much. It's
so much in this game. So let's talk about it. Let's get into Dead by Daylight talk. Let's get into this. Let's talk the moment-to-moment gameplay of this game. I think it's the fairest place to start. I think the moment-to-moment gameplay in this game, as a survivor, is really bloody good. Pun intended. It's a really good sort of setup where you have procedurally generated levels where nothing is ever really the same, totally unique levels every single time. And there is like that little bit of panic of where is everything? And then just having to go into it when you know there's a killer whose only job is to walk around, find you, kill you. The setup's brilliant.
Yeah, no, definitely. Especially when you get somewhere that is vaguely familiar, like you could land in the Nostromo map or you could land on like Elm Street or something like that. And you have that sense of, oh, I roughly know, like we were talking about this when we were playing ourselves, Love It. It's like the fact that we spawned in RPD. I was like, well, okay, I know I'm at the front door, so I know if I go up and right, that's going to take me up to the chief's office, and I know I can navigate the room based on another game that I've played entirely. It just, like stuff like that just kind of sets you up to have a great time, basically. And then if you can spawn next to a Jenny at that point, and you're flying for your objectives, then. Yeah.
Well, we've already said there's so much to this game. There is so much mechanics in this game, and it's frightening how much detail and depth you could go into if you really want to get into the weeds. There's a lot of weeds in this game. We'll stick with the surface level stuff. When it comes to fixing the generator, there is like a proximity between you and other players. The closer you are, if you have 2 of you fixing one generator, it'll fix quicker, but you're more likely to get skill checks, I find. I don't know if that's an actual mechanic, but if you're fixing a generator by yourself, it's slower with less skill checks. The more players fixing that generator, the faster it goes, but more frequent skill checks. Feel the skill check and it explodes. And it will send a little notification to every player in the map. This generator just went. And that all that means is if the killer's having a hard time finding you, they're going to come straight to
There's
you.
A big clue to where you are,
Or teleport to you.
It's like a weird 3-prong approach for being being survivor on the gens as well, because you have to find a gen first. You also have to keep your head on the swivel with your look analog stick, make sure that the killer's nowhere near you, and then also you have to do those things simultaneously while trying to get a skill check, which will spawn at random points on your screen. I don't enjoy those moments, because if I'm not failing one of those things, I'm failing them all, basically. One thing I find is I'm like, oh well, the skill wheel comes up in the top left and the killer's somewhere on the 99% of the screen. Next thing you know, the skill wheel shows up in a different part of my screen. I'll go, nope. I don't think I've ever passed consecutive skill checks this last month.
I mean, I can't confirm. I play with you. I don't think I passed the skill check. She's like, Tom, can you pass those, please? You're going to get a skilled.
They're everywhere else. They're everywhere that I don't remember them being. That's my problem.
And they're fairly simple, like the Grace.
Oh, it's a quick time event. That's it, isn't it? But no, I just can't seem to nail it.
But yes, if you feel it, like Tom always does, it'll explode and alert everyone where you are, basically. So you have a choice at that point: is do I stick or do I twist? And usually, if it explodes, I'm twisting. I'm getting out of there. I'll be like, see you later. If you pass it, however, there's two sort of tiers of passing. There's a good pass and there's a great pass. Good bumps up the repair status by a little bit, and great bumps up by a significant chunk more. So you want to really shoot for the great. The only thing about it is the great is always right on the edge, where if you mistime it slightly, you're failing every single time.
Yeah.
I find I'll try to get it on the good side of great if I can, just to keep myself safe and give myself a greater grace period. When it comes to those things, what I love about it is the game expects you to be doing a lot all the time. As you said, Tomahawk, you're there, you're trying to repair, you're keeping an eye out for your skill checks, you're also keeping an eye out, you're just constantly rotating your camera looking for the killer. And what the game does really well is it gives you all the tools to make your multitasking that little bit easier, where a skill check won't just appear out of nowhere. It'll give you like a little sound cue. This is going to happen.
A chime.
Once the chime stops, then the skill check appears. And when the killer is coming closer to you, then your heart rate starts going up. And you can sort of tell distance, proximity-wise, where the killer, how far away the killer is. If you're wearing a good set of headphones, you know where the killer is. Like, the sound design in this game is really, really helpful. Like, there's a lot in this game designed to help the player. An awful lot, which is one thing I think this game does really well. It helps you play the game. I don't think it doesn't do other parts of the game very well, but we'll get that when we get to that. But when it comes to playing the game does a great job of communicating exactly what you're going to be doing or what you should be doing. If you're doing something wrong, the game lets you know using sound cues or visual cues or both a lot of the time. And it's just a really well thought out design of game. When it comes to the killer side, I've got really mixed feelings about the killer side. I think if you're playing with a killer who you're familiar with and you have like a lot of like skills and stuff like that, it's a lot of fun. But a lot of the time, especially with the way the matchmaking works in this game, a lot of the time it's really boring being a killer. I don't know if I'm alone in that. I find it quite dull. So I do. My favorite killer is Michael Myers, because he is the stealthy one, and you know he's a lot of fun. His skills are very good, and I think he's a lot of fun. And the whole pursuing mechanic he has is really good crack. But yeah, if you have players who are familiar with your killer and they're counteracting your skills with their perks and stuff like that, it becomes really difficult.
A task more than it's a job more than a game at that point.
Yeah.
But I suppose that's why there's so much variety.
Yeah.
You got to find what works for you. Like there's certain killers that I really, really like playing, like the Xenomorph, because Alien, Nemesis, because I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. Like for me, it's almost like I just get starstruck with the franchise stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, I get to play as these iconic horror characters. I don't care if they're S tier or not. Like, I just want to play as them.
Yep.
And I've only just started playing Killer, actually. I never used to play Killer at all because how do we put it? People can be very horrible.
Yeah.
In DVD. And the thing is, like, if you're playing Survivor, it doesn't feel like that anywhere near as much because there's 4 of you. Mm-hmm. So if the killer mouths off at you in the post game, it's fine because there's 4 of you. Like, it's like dispersed. And, you know, unless your teammates are having to go at you as well, I suppose it'll be all right. But then when you're the killer, it's like all of that pressure is on you.
Yeah.
And there's like a social pressure there because no one likes having 4 people insulting them and going off on them.
Yep. Yeah.
Because like, people get really personal with it. Like people really, go a bit nutty with it. So yeah, Killer can be very stressful, but as someone who's only just started playing Killer in the last month, I've learned to just accept it's a game. And it's really hard to do because you're against 4 other real people, and it's very confrontational by nature. But I don't care if they teabag at the exit gate or whatever. Like, I just like roll my eyes like, oh yeah, all right, whatever.
GG's. Always end with a GG. That's it. Yeah.
Give it a GG's and just leave. Like, who cares, right?
Yeah, I think that the worst part of being a killer, you said it there, Kai, the social pressure is for a good game of Dead by Daylight, you have to be at least proficient with the killer. Otherwise, it's a really horrible experience for everybody.
Yeah. Do you know what it's like being killer in DBD is like being a tank in a MMORPG? If you're playing as a tank in an MMORPG in a dungeon, let's say World of Warcraft, for instance, you go into a dungeon with 5 people, there's only 1 tank.
Okay, yeah.
So if you're not doing your job properly, you've got 4 people angry at you.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas if you're one of the DPS, there's 3 DPS, so it's kind of harder to judge people for not pulling their weight. But as the killer, you feel like you have to
put on a show,
put on a good show, as it were.
Yeah.
and people get it into their heads like there's, I don't know if you've ever heard the phrase, the survivor's handbook or something.
No,
I don't think so.
It's like it's not a real thing. It's like a jokey phrase when survivor players especially get really annoyed if killers aren't playing a certain way by their own rule book that they have thought up in their head.
Right, yes. I have come across this where after the game, I got some stick because I killed someone immediately after they got unhooked.
Sure.
And they were like, no, that's not the rules. If you're unhooked, you get a grace period. No, you don't.
It doesn't work like that.
Not in the real world.
No.
Welcome to the real world, boy. But yeah, I've come across something like that in this game.
No, I very much have operated on if you're in my hitbox, you're fair game. It doesn't matter if you've just been saved, if you've just been healed or whatever. I'm going to do my due diligence as killer.
We'll feed the entity,
and also
the
like,
entity would deserve it and want it.
Because the argument that's made with that is they always say you're tunneling.
Yes,
you're tunnel visioned on one player. You just want to remove that player from the game. And the reason why it's bad is because this is a collaborative effort between 5 people, like Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh,
and God. You are ruining this person's game and making it so that they can't have fun. And
amazing.
I think they're forgetting that the killer has a very specific job, and it's to kill everyone. And don't get me wrong, like, I don't tunnel on single players because I know what that feels like, and it is shite. But also, if I'm playing against a team who are like hyper aggressive, really sweaty, constantly like going for the flashlight saves and everything else, if I get a chance to eliminate someone from the game, I'm going to do it.
Oh man, definitely, because I've seen you do it on stream as well, and I definitely have been doing that myself recently. It was an RPD, and I was playing the Xenomorph, and I had a couple of people just like, they're trying to loop you around the front desk, and then they start shining lights, and then basically I sat there and went, right, this is how we're going to play it then, and they were just, teabagging in front of you and then shining the lights, so I basically just blind tail attacked them and downed them straight away, and I was just basically like, this is how we're going to play it then. Okay, I'm going to play it equally as sweaty then.
Let's play. Yeah. It is such a strange game. Like the people who play it, I've had a lot of really good games with a lot of really good people in this game. But yeah, it's a strange sort of relationship the players have in pretty much every single game of Dead by Daylight that you play. I mean, you've said it already. The skill level in this game, the skill ceiling is crazy high. And there are some people out there who are just fantastic at this game on both sides. I mean, I've played some killers who were relentless, just taking out everyone like it was nothing. And then again, I've played as the killer where there's 1 or 2 survivors who are just carrying their team for the duration and winning. And it's just like, man, this is hard.
but this is where that skill ceiling starts coming into play, because when you identify those survivors, for example, who full well, if I chase this person, gonna loot me long enough that there's gonna be another generator gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm just not gonna chase them.
Yep.
But then they get the moment there where you just come across whoever the survivor MVP is, and by luck you get them out of the game on a hook. The players that they're carrying just scramble. They don't know how to react. And so if you can get I've been on that receiving end where I've carried generators and basically I've been then targeted and took out the game, and then the other survivors basically run around not knowing what to do, and then it's a TPK by the end of it.
Sure.
Yeah, it's
a house of cards, and once you start removing the stronger players, either because a lot of them are very prideful and they really, 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 really want to run you round for 5 gens.
Yeah.
To the point where even when you're not chasing them, they're not going and doing gens. They're just still trying to get your attention for like 10 minutes. And it's like, in a way, that's a strategy in itself. Like, the only way to win is to not play.
just to goad you and that no more than.
But what they can, that does throw you where you turn around. The last thing you expect to see when you turn around is a player stalking you, and it throws you, and it's like you go into these maps with, depending on what killer you are, you go in with a plan, and that plan is find out where everything is, which is the way I always go in. Where is everything? Where's the exit? How can I run interference as best as I possibly can? And then you'll get one player who's really good with the high power flashlight just following you around, and every time you turn around, bang, you're blind, and then they run away. It's just around the corner, and then they jump out and get you a game once that has regened. It's a strange game. I think I'm going to say this a lot. It's a weird game. It is bizarre. It's like, do you remember League of Legends? League of Legends used to have this reputation for having a really strange community, and it was like some players are griefers, some players are this, some players are that, some players are really, really nice. Yeah. I think this falls under that umbrella as well. It's a bizarre little thing, and skill is a really important factor in every game in this. You have your loadouts, and you can counteract stuff as best as you can, or as best as your understanding allows you, because we'll get into it. There's so many. If you're a survivor, you have so many perks. Like I don't even know the number of them. There's tons and tons and tons of perks. And they all do very specific things, and they're buffs or they're countermeasures against the killer's skills. And the game never communicates with you very clearly what all these things are for. There's some that are very obvious. You will see the generators when you're within X amount of meters of them, or whatever it might be. Or every time someone starts repairing a generator, it will ping on your map for a little bit, this, that, the other. You will see the killer from further away. You'll see their aura and all this here business. Some of them are really obvious. Some of them are like, I have no idea what that
Some of them just give you a quote from a franchise that they've taken the character from, and I'm like, that doesn't help. Like, currently I have Alan Wake as my survivor, and most of the quotes are like, what's that got to do with the perk?
It used to be a lot worse with the perks, actually. Like, way worse. So back in the day, you would have perk descriptions that were like, this tremendously increases, or like, this tremendously increases repair speed. What does that mean? No one knows. This slightly increases repair speed. No one knows what that means. So nowadays, at least, they've changed it to percentages. Like this increases repair speed by 60%. I'm like, oh, okay, I understand that.
They still do that though with the offerings currently, that you can go, this will tremendously increase your chances of being on this map, or
yes,
so
yeah.
Like what does
the hatch ones
mean? What does tremendously mean?
I'm sure there is a number behind it, but they've not fully committed to that yet.
No, it's very much I don't know. Hopefully nobody asks. I do like it though, because like the survivor gets longer for their flashlight duration, their health can regen 20% quicker. They can fix gens quicker. They can hide their radius can be suppressed and stuff as well. and Killer just gets. I think you yourself, Kai, were running your Xeno was getting buffs for every locker or hiding place opened and stuff as well.
Yeah, so I built my xenomorph around opening lockers. So I had 4 perks to do with making things happen every time I opened a locker. And it was really strong. I got so many kills. But I think it's kind of like, it's interesting you bring up League of Legends earlier. I know you were talking about like the community aspect, but the way in which DBD works gameplay wise and the strategy that players have to invoke is actually very reminiscent of MOBAs. Because you need to know all the perks, you need to know all the items, you need to know all the add-ons, you need to know all the maps, you need to know all the characters and what they do. And that is really where the upper part of the skill ceiling starts to begin, because if you don't have that knowledge, you are at such a severe disadvantage. Like, I mentioned I only recently came back to the game, and I played a Survivor game, and it was against, God, what's her name? Is it the Houndmaster? She's got a dog. She's got a dog.
Sounds familiar.
I don't know nothing about it.
I know.
I've gone against her, I think, once ever. And I'm loaded into the game. It's like, oh, okay, she's got a dog and she's whistling at me. I don't know what her power does. I don't know how to counterplay this. I don't know anything about that. And so she killed me because I don't have the knowledge.
You don't know, yeah. The only plus side of that, I've seen this character a couple of times. The dog's really buggy. Sometimes the dog will just get stuck on nothing and then disappear. And I think she can pet the dog in order to buff its hunt radius.
Right.
And all this here sort of business. Yeah, it's a really...
she's a killer, right?
You always pet the dog. No matter,
the dog
its alignment.
The dog powers are quite good because you can send the dog off in one direction and it'll make noise and it'll make the players think, oh, that's the killer, and they'll move away, and then you can sort of pincer them by yourself, and the dog can find generators, you can find, tracks and stuff. Anyway, when you're the killer, you see like the red cross hatches on the ground where someone has run.
Sure.
It can follow them and just make noise and tell you where they are. It's a really interesting killer, that one. A really, really, really interesting killer. That's one of the real big sort of boons about Dead by Daylight. There is so much going on. You have so many perks, so many skills, so many items, and you can mix and match them any way you see fit. You can make your survivor, your killer fit your play style any way you want. My Michael Myers build is all built around sort of every time you grab, every time you hook, he gets a attack bonus basically, so he just gets stronger and stronger and stronger. But I think his inherent weakness is if you get spotted, it takes away like 10%, and you can rebuild it up by being in close proximity without being spotted and all your business.
Oh, okay.
There's so much going on under the hood of this game. It's crazy, and it just it's overwhelming for new players. As someone who hasn't played this game since Hellraiser, but just before Hellraiser, I think I dropped this game. Coming back to it and seeing everything is just like, what is this? And even like when it goes pick, you choose your survivor and you open up the window and there's like 50 of them, and you're thinking, what? All
right, so who's good? Yeah, like I had someone on stream this morning saying, "Oh, I've just got DBD after watching you play it. What survivor should I play?" And I'm like, I don't know. There's like 50 of them. I don't know.
I'm still Dwight Fairfield. The only survivor I think I've ever played. It's just stick to what's known. And then you think, you know what? The killer side can't be that bad. But there's 41 killers?
Is there that many? Oh my God.
Yeah, there's like 40 of them. Some of them are original creations. There used to be 42 before Pinhead, I'm presuming the licensing for that ran out, so he doesn't count anymore. But yeah, there's like 40 killers.
There must be a sense of like a few killer clones, like, because I've been playing, when I first sort of started getting into this with for prep for this, I was just playing as the hillbilly. And then as I've been watching other players and coming into contact with other killers, basically Bubba playing as Leatherface they're just the same person, but just one is a Texas Chainsaw skin. He has a sledgehammer and a chainsaw and has the same sort of abilities. I'm like, surely there's a good bit of crossover with what is an original character and what is just like a loaned-in franchisee, then we'll say.
So some of them are definitely inspired, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, Trapper is he's just Jason, isn't he? Like, let's be honest,
Exactly.
he's Machete with a hockey mask. Like, it's pretty
Yes.
on the nose.
It's distinct.
It is great to
just
be
avoid
said about
copyright.
this, like to have this sort of series and franchises like loaned into DVD, because it has this sense of, it just gives me this sense of like Avengers Secret Wars. It's like, who is the best killer in this scenario? It's like always the Xenomorph. It is, by the way, just saying. But yes, it's just the variation, the variety is so good. It's nearly too much, but when you kind of lock in to who you like, and again, it could just be franchise blindness that you just go, I'm going to pick this one person because I love it, regardless. I'm going to make this build work to suit me and my play style. You know,
I think the rule of cool is very important to the game.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Michael Myers was the best killer in cinema / gaming history. So he is. But yeah, it's funny you say that about the killers, because I don't know, maybe it's because I like fighting games. You're like, okay, so these are following very specific rules of what this killer is. So I just was like, surely there must be some rules for all these killers. So I went digging, did some research, because we research here at Ice Things, believe it or not. Archetypes, like fighting games. You have certain styles of characters that can do certain things. So from my research, there's 6 killer archetypes in this game.
Okay.
So there's zoners. So the killers with projectiles, basically, they just control the map. They can move around, keep you away from things, basically. Teleporters, who ironically enough can teleport, usually just in a line of sight. Rushdown characters. Mm-hmm. And then you have trappers, stealth killers, and then control characters. So control characters are the ones that can move around really.
God, there's so many.
Yeah. Now, this is what I think they are. I looked into this, and some places were saying there's 13 of them, and here's what they are. And I was like, well, no, because that
so
one and
much
that one are the
overlap,
same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, there's trappers. Like, one website had like 7 different types of trappers. And I was like, well, that's the archetype then is trapper. Do you know what I mean? So they all follow like really, I would say, strict rules, but they don't. Their killer skills follow rules, and it's based around their kill type. But beyond that, then you can just work around that. I mean, there's some killers in this game that just seem to be, I don't know, we've mentioned balance tonight already with either the matchmaking or whatever it might be. There's real balancing issues with some of the killers. Some of the killers are clearly way better than others. There's one game, I don't know what the killer's called, but she's like a banshee. She can teleport. She's really fast. She's really strong. And it's really hard to lose her. She gets 2 teleports before it needs to like cool down.
All right.
And just clearly far better than, say, the hillbilly.
Yeah. Well, you get that with any game that has it doesn't even have to be video games. You look at TCGs and stuff. And any game which has skills, I guess.
Yeah.
You get like content creep, don't you, where you're essentially just getting things that are objectively better than what has come before. And I don't know how they balance that. Well, they don't really, do they? I mean, they try to give things unique things instead.
And then that unique thing seems to just be completely OP.
I always, whenever like content creep comes in, I always think of the Pokemon TCG. So the Pokemon TCG, like the OG version of that game, like the best Pokemon was Charizard, and it had a HP of 120. And then within 3 years, it was 350, and they just reset. They're like, okay, let's just drop all these cards. Here's a new set. Can't use the old ones in competition. And they nerfed like HP. So I think right now, time of writing, Charizard and Rayquaza, the 2 strongest cards, 320 HP. So the only way to fix that is hard reset. And imagine the outroar in a video game world about if you hard reset the killers. There'd be riots in the street.
Exodus,
Dozens of people rioting because, I don't know,
my build is ruined. I'm never playing this game again.
I think they're never going to do it, but rebalancing percentages and stuff like that, it'll be an absolute nightmare to balance this game.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just have to live with it and
You
deal
just
with
have
it
to
as best
rely
as you
on new
can.
players coming in and not knowing what they're doing, and then they just get lobbies of players who don't know what they're doing, and everyone has a great time in this obscurity.
It's a really the horse is well and truly bolted with balancing in this game, and it was never particularly balanced well
No,
anyway.
it's games like these where probably the most Googled question about the game is what is the best X, Y, and like what is the best character? What's the best build? What is the best way to play like DBD and stuff like that? It's like these are the games. These are the burning question all the time.
Yeah, but you get that in every sort of like if you look Street Fighter, just type
With
in
a
Street Fighter
class
6
system,
to Google or YouTube, and it'll be tier list. Who should you be playing as? And I was like, no, who should newbies avoid? No, as
exactly.
Kai said, it's the real cool. Pick a character
is, yeah.
that looks cool, and you think you'll have a good time with. That's how this game rolls. So it is. But yeah, let's talk about other things with this. We've talked about tunneling.
Yeah.
Tunneling's a real issue with this game, especially when you have the generators done. A lot of killers will just walk to the gate and patrol back and forth, and it's
Bring the sacrificial player into play here at this
that's
point.
what you
now.
have to do. You sprint, and if you get caught, you get caught, and that's just it. Free it up for everyone else.
The issue with that is there's nothing else for the killer really to do.
Nope.
So it's this really weird situation where no one likes that gameplay. Like the killers find it boring, and the survivors find it annoying.
Mm-hmm.
But there is no other viable strategy. Like what else are they meant to do? Yeah.
I've been the victim of it there, where they the gate's been opened, and then they camp at the barrier basically, and they allow you to hit them, especially if they're already wounded. They allow you to hit them because their animation will take them to safety as a downed player, and I'm just like, I know what they're playing, and I just fulfill that prophecy all the same. Really, I think we then had it on the other side where we had the Wraith. I think it was, she was patrolling the exit for the RPD, and the two of us were kind of in the service exit, and then one person was in the lobby, basically just like, and then she had to commit, either get one of us in a pile or go for one she could loop around the entire building and catch him out. Then I think that's what she ended up doing, basically getting one guaranteed kill and letting the two of us scarp her at that point then.
Yeah, and it's at that point in the game, it's every man for themselves. The teamwork goes out the window. It's just like, once she's gone, we're sprinting. To be fair to Behavior Interactive, they have implemented some things to give a killer more to do. Like, I think it started with Freddy Krueger, and Freddy Krueger could put you to sleep, and you would enter the dream world. It's kind of what they're doing right now with the event where there's the portals. You can go into the other world, and the only way to get out of your dream was to wake up, so you had to find an alarm clock. But if you were in the dream world, you couldn't escape. You had to wake up to get out, and it was brilliant. And it just needs more of that. I think the killer needs more to do in this game, big time.
They've done a good job of giving all the killers like a distinct personality and gameplay style. But something the community at large has been asking for since the game's inception, really, is, can we do something other than repair 5 generators, for the love of God?
Yes.
Because especially if you're in a game where like one survivor is running around the killer for the whole game, and you're not a part of that, you're just sat on generators for the whole game. It's actually quite boring. It's quite boring because you're just holding the left mouse button for essentially 10 minutes and then leaving. So it's where DBD is its greatest strength and its greatest weakness is that the moment-to-moment gameplay is incredible, but if you're not a part of it, it's terrible.
Yes. Yeah. There's nothing worse than dying early, and it allows you to leave, but you want your whatever little XP or whatever it is you're going to get, your bloods, you're going to get, you know, you want that, and you need to hang around to the end of the game to get that reward.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it becomes, just cycling through, who do you follow, and and it's not a spectator sport, I think it's fair to say, for day by day. Like, you need to be playing it, you need to be experiencing it. We sound like we hate this game.
Yeah, it's getting an awful bad rap usually from us, but then we're going to turn it around in the third act. This is what we usually do.
I want to focus on something this game does really, really well. The moment-to-moment gameplay. I know I said that the horror element is gone. When you are doing something like a generator and the killer pops up from around you, your heart rate is going and you're being chased. It is absolutely panic-inducing and accelerating at the same time. When you're being chased is the best part of this game. Trying to find your way out of a sure death is really, really nice, and there's loads you can do to sort of avoid the killer. Everyone loves that. Let's get hit, and you get that temporary speed boost to get you a wee bit away. Other people love the torches. I hate the torches. I think it'd be, the moment-to-moment gameplay in this game is brilliant. Even something as simple as sitting on a generator, or you're doing a generator by someone else's, keeping an eye on the corridor, whatever it is. There's a lot to love in this game. I think this game, we've had a lot of asymmetric horror games since this. We've had Friday the 13th, Predator. I don't even know any others. There's loads of them.
Evil Dead. Evil Dead. Sorry, yeah.
This one's the best of its genre.
Yeah, it is.
And it's not even close. I mean, Friday the 13th, I loved it. It was a mess.
Yeah, it was
buggy. It was broken half the time. The maps were just too big. Whereas this one has got a really nice balance of things for the survivors to do, map size, and just moment-to-moment gameplay is just way more exciting here than it is anywhere else in the same genre. Massively.
Yeah, it's the best in class, and like you say, it's not even close. Like, no. It's you can't even compare. The others are that bad in comparison.
Mm-hmm. It's such a short lifespan as well.
Yeah, they all. It's kind of similar to Phasmophobia, where you get competitors come out and people will jump on the hype train for 2 weeks because they always do.
Yeah.
And it's the same old story. Like, people realize very quickly the wealth of content isn't there, the finely tuned balance isn't there. The engaging level of the moment-to-moment gameplay just isn't the same. And it's usually kind of janky. Like a lot of horror games, at least within the horror sphere, are absolutely full of jank. And Friday the 13th was a great example. I personally really liked Friday the 13th.
I loved it.
It was good fun, especially with the whole proximity chat.
Yeah.
That was really fun for me personally. Don't get me wrong, I also was subject to some horrific abuse in it, but
God,
for the most part, it was it was good fun. But it was janky as all hell. Like, you'd be running, and he would swing at you, and he swung like over that way, and you're here, and he's hit you, and you're like, I don't understand what's going on in this. Like, at least with DBD, don't get me wrong, it has its moments, but for the most part, it's very much a case of it's fair,
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
It's like in Dark Souls. Like, if you get hit in Dark Souls, it's because you got hit in Dark Souls, and it's kind of the same in DBD, where it's kind of fair in the way it feels, I guess. You get the odd bit of jank, but I would say moment-to-moment gameplay, it's pretty polished. And if you're bringing out a competitor in that field and you don't have that same level of polish, your game is dead on arrival.
Yeah, you're never competing against this. What I like about this game as well, and it can be frustrating, but you understand why they've put it in, is you mentioned Dark Souls there, where you have to be very deliberate with your controller inputs. This is exactly the same if you're the killer. because the killer will swing once, and all of them will have like a unique animation of what they do with their weapon in their hand to stop you from spamming players, which is a degree of real thought of how do we make this fairer for players. So Michael Myers will swing. If he hits someone, he'll wipe the knife. And if he doesn't, then he'll just wipe the knife anyway. But it's that animation that gives the player, the survivor, that time to go. What this game has that none of the others have ever had is it gives you more than one chance.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas in Friday the 13th, you get cornered by Jason, you're dead, your game's over. Whereas this one, you get caught and hooked, you can get hooked 3 times.
You get a moment of reprieve. Yeah, I noticed as well playing as Xenomorph, once you get the tail attack option, if you hit an environment or hit a pallet or hit something that is not the player, like the tail goes limp and like recoils away and then has to like straighten up, and she has to like poise herself for another attack as well. It's the same if you're like a hillbilly or anyone like that with a edged weapon and he misses, or if you hit the player, they take this moment to go, hell yeah, I hit the player, but that still gives them the second
to run,
to get away.
The Trickster, I think, is that what's it called? The Trickster? His animation's the best in the game. He's the one that throws all the daggers. When you swing with your knife and hit someone, he does like the gambit, throws it in the air, catches it, and then looks at it. It's really cool. It brings us so much personality to the game. The killers all feel really, really, really unique, and they play uniquely. I think there's a lot of thought went into this game, and that's why it's been so popular for so long. That's why it is the premier asymmetrical horror game, and this is the reason why competitors are no longer trying to emulate this game, because it's like trying to make a battle royale when Fortnite exists.
Yeah. Well, plus as well, when you get the likes of Friday the 13th, you got the likes of Halloween that are coming out as well next year, or it's coming up this month if you're listening to this in 2026. Who knows? But you get like how the lore, like, I'm not going to touch too much on the lore because I'm not well versed in it, but the entity has this like capability of bringing like villains and survivors from their worlds and their universes into its domain and makes everyone battle it out. It creates this like super evergreen content, whereas like Halloween will be DOA essentially because you are confined to only Halloween.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's the biggest mistake all these other games make, is they lock themselves into a franchise where Friday the 13th, the only killer you can have is Jason or Mrs. Voorhees.
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't believe Mrs. Voorhees was ever added into that. Maybe I'm wrong.
Wasn't.
No.
And that limits the
Arrowhead. Like Arrowhead said this whenever Helldivers 2 came out, whenever they did the Killzone crossover with it, and they went. The CEO of Arrowhead said, "We're very meticulous about how you do crossovers, because once you make that crossover event happen, them two universes become canon with each other." And Dead by Daylight does this really beautiful thing of it actually like contradicts that. So what the entity can do is it can take I'm going to try and use an example that's not Alien in this instance. It can take everyone. It can take Scream. It can take everyone from that Scream universe and put them into the Dead by Daylight universe and make them all battle it out and do that. But it doesn't go the other way. Like, we're never going to see a Scream movie where the entity comes into this universe, because they know the confines of that just then becomes silly. Whereas like Dead by Daylight has this amazing ability to go, well, the entity has chosen this franchise now because it wants to, not because they have an upcoming reboot.
Yeah, and it's the one piece of lore I do know about this game is how the entity works, and they're really clear on how it works. It is the entity needs to feed off like primal emotions fear, panic, bloodlust, and all this here business. But they go to great lengths to tell you that all these universes of all these characters in Dead by Daylight, they do not coexist with one another. When the entity makes an arena, it is only that arena at that particular moment in time, and it does not exist outside of the arena, which is a really nice way of compartmentalizing their crossovers. so
Yeah.
it doesn't spill out. It's the only part of the lore I do know is that this thing exists here and now, and only here and now, and it will never exist again.
The game constantly tells me to consult the tomes, and I'm like, no.
So many of them. I've got like 600. What do you mean consult? I'm not reading that. Is there an audio book?
It's like I'm not reading. I'm not listening to the notes in MGS5. I'm not consulting the tomes in my waiting room.
you need to play. What was it? The Casting of Frank Stone. It's kind of a prequel to DBD.
Is it like so? I'm kind of as I've been thinking about playing it. And I'm thinking the casting of Frank Stone, is this like how Frank Stone is now casted as a DVD killer? And this is like his origin story is to becoming a DVD killer? Or am I barking up the wrong tree here?
I think they're going to add him eventually. But he's kind of lame.
Oh, is he?
He's just a guy in a mask with a machete. Like, he's just another
Cut and paste kind
Jason
of. Right, okay.
clone, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing overly intriguing about him in particular. But the game's good in that it really expands the lore of the universe.
Okay.
About how, as you say, the entity is essentially a Lovecraftian eldritch god.
Yeah.
That like time has no meaning to it, location has no meaning to it. It just dips into various places because it wants to feed off of hope. That's the primary thing it wants to feed off of. And that's that they built that into the mechanics. Like, the reason the hatch exists lore wise, obviously we know why it exists gameplay wise.
Yeah.
But the reason why it exists lore wise is the most succulent thing to the entity is hope. And so it always wants the survivors to have a chance to escape even when all hope is lost. That's why the hatch just magically appears. Because it's like, right, I'm enjoying my meal. Let's really ramp up the feeling of hope. Like, all their friends are dead, but there's still a chance they might make it out. Like, it's clever how they've baked the lore seamlessly into the gameplay.
Yeah.
And how the player gets gifted the sort of final kill, or so they get gifted a kill by the killer's hands, as opposed to just, we're going to feed this eldritch entity.
Was some of the killers, lore-wise, don't want to be there and have basically been tortured by the entity and forced to do his bidding. Like, you know how Trapper has, like, you know, hooks and bits of metal sticking out of him and that?
Yeah.
That's because the entity did that to him. It tortures him and forces him to kill people.
Oh, right, okay.
I love it. I love it. It's a strange game. One thing we haven't talked about, we've talked about sound design. I haven't talked about the music, gentlemen. The music is probably one of the strongest parts of this game. The music's brilliant.
Really good. Like,
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the music.
it's just like, it's so well baked in, and it just, you know, when, like, even the random bits of music where it's like the skill check and like you get that sense of, yes, I did something, like that achievement, and then next thing you know, you've got like the killer's like iconic music in proximity to you, and I'm like, no, I fear this in its own game. I shouldn't have to fear this in a crossover event.
Yeah, I love the music. The first time I really noticed the music was the Freddy Krueger sort of pack when that came out, and it took the Nightmare on Elm Street theme and just sort of changes it a little bit. And I was just like, oh, hello, this is pretty good. I like this. I like the fact when Michael Myers is stalking you, actively stalking you, the music plays. I get from a gameplay it's not ideal because it removes the element of surprise from the kill, whatever.
Oh, it's still very cool though.
But that's it. It's just cool. And there's tons and tons of music in this game where in the moment gameplay, there is really none. There is points where the music plays, primarily chases, and when you're trying to escape at the end. But the music is so good. The sound design, I know I've said this already, the sound design's great. It's a pretty good looking game too. I don't think it's going to blow anyone's socks off in 2025 of how Dead by Daylight looks. It runs smooth. The environment, the sort of arenas you're in are really detailed. The only thing I will say about the graphics is some arenas, because of the nature of them, look way better than others.
Yeah.
The ones that are like in like desert type environments are empty.
Yeah. And they're not even the oldest maps. That's the funny thing.
Yeah. The oldest maps are like the grassy sort of ones where,
Yeah.
because I remember there was a time when it was only grassy arenas you were in.
Like a forest's edge or something.
Yeah, like a glade or a clearing. But yeah, there is a wee bit of inconsistency across the board. But when you have how many maps are there? 61 maps over 20 biomes is a mental amount of work that they've put into this game over the last 8 years. Like, that's crazy.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
And there is a real, I think the biggest problem with Dead by Daylight is, it's the biggest problem, and one of its biggest strengths is the volume of things in it. This is where everything stems from: the inconsistency of the graphics, the amount of killers that feel similar to one another, if not identical to one another, and then all the issues with all of the perks and skills and items. And there's a lot in this game to learn as a newbie in 2025, because that's what I am, because this is not the game I stopped playing in 2018. It really isn't.
No.
It's overwhelming how much there is in it. The good side to this is the game's really fun. It's a really good time. It is a really good time. I like the moment gameplay. I like the way the matches tend to swing out. I love it when it's you and like one other survivor because everyone else is dead, and then the stakes feel really high. And it's like that moment in, we've all done it in a horror movie, I think we should split up. And you're like, no, don't do that. At that moment in time, you're like, we have to. And you just instinctively know that you have to split up in order to stand any chance and just hope for the best. And that's what you do as a player. You hope for the best at all times in this game. And it's feeding the entity. It's just feeding the entity. Yeah. So it just is.
A little snack.
Yeah. Is there anything else anyone wants to bring up in this game?
I think one of the biggest, I don't know if you call it a controversy, but certainly one of the biggest talking points about Dead by Daylight is the community. Yeah. For better or worse, DBD has a bit of a reputation. I think in both directions.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's certainly parts of the community which are generally well regarded and seen as quite nice and welcoming and wholesome. But then there's the other side of it, which is maybe one of the most toxic communities I've ever been a part of on the internet.
Yep, agreed.
Like, absolutely, like the amount of times I've been told to, unalive myself.
Yep.
It is, we're reaching free-to-play MOBA levels here.
Yes.
Which is actually quite insane for it to get to that level for a game as casual as this. I know there are like tournaments and stuff, but like let's be honest here. Like, it's not a true competitive game.
No.
Not on the same level as like Counter-Strike or Dota or something like that.
It's nowhere near those.
There's too many variables involved in Dead by Daylight for it to ever be truly competitive.
Yep.
I mean, that might be considered controversial. I don't know. People are very proud of their achievements in DBD, so I don't mean any offense to them.
If you have any issues, if you what you've just heard, go to GhostKai at twitch.tv/GhostKai. His views are not shared at the High Scores High Stakes Towers.
Well, it's the same in any gaming community.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Some people get very, very defensive about their perceived achievements inside a game and they take it personally if you don't personally
align with that. Yeah. The hill that they choose to die on is a very, very strange one.
Yeah. It's funny because if you just do a Google of Dead by Daylight on the first page of results, there is at least one article asking the question, why is the community the way it is? And it's a really good question because I don't know, when a game like with Dota and League of Legends, I can understand why the communities are the way they are because they are enormous games. Like millions and millions of players play those games every single day. Mm-hmm. This one's niche, like really niche. And I get the player base for this game is pretty big. It's not like going to blow anyone's socks off how the community size of this game.
Yeah.
And it does beg a question: is should they have taken a heavier handed approach to kind of nip it in the bud earlier? But then it goes, how, you don't want to, you can't go on I guess mass banning session for folk who are toxic. Dota can,
Yeah.
League of Legends can as well, because they have so many players.
Yeah, well, they need people to buy the DLC, don't they?
Exactly.
That's it. And this is another thing I want to bring up. Thank you for saying those words, Ghost, because the price of the DLCs in this is wildly inconsistent. There is
Yes.
some packs, like Nightmare on Elm Street pack, you get a killer, you get a survivor, you get new perks, you get new items, you get a level, you get like a what they call the realms, and it's like $6.99. But then there's Ghostface from Scream, just a character, £4, nothing else, just a skin. And I get that's the name of the game with these things,
They're service
here's a
games,
cool skin,
yeah.
here's a cool skin, go buy it, but I'm not spending that money on this skin. If it has levels and stuff, if it genuinely
you can
adds
justify
something
the
new,
price tag on it. Yeah.
But I find it really hard to justify the price for a character in a game that I'm probably, like you said earlier on, Kai, bought it, never going to use it, just wanted it because it's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very much a victim of that. Purely because my plan was we streamed a little bit of DBD, and I figured don't just use the pre-stock characters. I bought Alan Wake because I thought it would stand out ever so slightly, and I've only ever run into one other Alan Wake
I've
user.
never seen another Alan Wake. so you have that going for it. It's right for a field or death. That's what I say.
But it's a very genius business model, because we spoke about the power creep, and then you've got these very, very overpowered perks. At least when they come out, they're very overpowered deliberately, being tied to the characters linked to the new DLCs. Like it's incredibly profitable, because if you want to compete, and a lot of people view it as a competitive game, whether it is or not is a different question, but they view it that way, and so they think, well, I need these perks. If I don't have these perks, then I'm useless, basically.
I'm the worst player.
Pretty much FOMO. Just introduce FOMO to it. You need this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You need this. And I recognize the irony that I paid $29.99 for 4 characters in Street Fighter 6 pretty recently, but that's a different story.
We're not here to judge you on Street Fighter at the minute. No, we're only here to judge on DBD.
But it's interesting when you're talking about the community and why has this happened to this community in particular? Because it never was a free to play game at the beginning. It was a £25 game, and it's a normal game for all intents and purposes. So the price for entry was a reasonably high one, and yet it became one of the most toxic, notoriously toxic cesspits on the internet, to the point where the developers literally added in an option to turn off the post-game chat.
Yeah.
They added that option because of how toxic it was. And I think there's a couple of reasons, and one of those is the way the game is designed. It is very specifically a confrontational game. Even though it's 1 versus 4, every encounter feels like a 1v1 encounter, and there are things you can do in the game as well which make it feel personal. Like if let's say you're playing killer and a survivor loops you around the shack a few times and then drops a pallet on your head, then starts teabagging you and flashlight blinds you, it feels bad.
Yeah,
like it does. It feels very personal, even though it shouldn't. The way it's designed, it feels very, very personal and very frustrating. And likewise, it goes on the other way around. If you're playing a survivor, and perhaps like me, for example, you've got TTV in your name, and then the killer finds you, and they relentlessly go after you. They get you down. They put you on the hook. They sit just far enough away that they can camp you without triggering the anti-camp mechanics. Then as soon as you get unhooked, they get you down again, and then they just make sure you basically don't play the game. that also feels very personal and you feel very aggrieved by it. So I think it's just the way the game is designed. It's encouraged these behaviors, and they're trying desperately to like introduce measures against like anti-camp and anti-tunnel and all of this and that and the other. You're never going to change it. The game's been around for a decade.
That's too late.
The horse is bolted.
It's too set in at this point.
It's ingrained. And don't get me wrong, it's very, very fun when you're on the end of stunning someone and teabagging them, which then makes, you know, the ego grows, you become more confident, and then it becomes the norm for you, especially if you're a very, very good player.
Yeah.
You become accustomed to basically harassing other. No, it's not harassment. I don't want to use harassment because that's way too harsh language. But you become accustomed to just absolutely styling on people, which is fun for you, but like is a super negative experience on the other end, which makes people bitter, and then people start playing like arseholes in order to level the scales. Yeah. And then like it bitterness begets bitterness, and then people will just continually become more and more toxic, and they feed into each other, these two gameplay styles. You know, every new killer player is one teabagging at the gate away from slugging and tunneling a team. It's true. Like,
it is true.
100%.
It's sort of, it's like, you know, that old concept, the old psychological concept, is it called Batari's box? And it's like your attitude, you know, makes my attitude, and your behavior affects my, you know, becomes my behavior type thing. It is that, because if you are just incessantly as you being teabagged, you're going to do one of two things. You're going to become really resilient and learn how to play this game so you can do it to other people, or you're going to go, this game's not for me, I'm done. See you later, and uninstall it and never play it again. Because you know, it's a funny sort of meme on the internet was, you would never survive an Xbox Live chat. Dead by Daylight can be worse than what Xbox Live was in 2007.
Well, I literally I had a game the other day, because I'm learning killer at the moment. It's a heck of a thing to try and learn killer when you're going against survivors who've got 7,000 hours in the game. And I can't remember which killer it was, but it was literally my first ever game with this killer. And I nearly got a kill, but then like eventually they all got out, and then it was fine. Like, you know, I don't even know how the killer works. Post game, learn to play better, uninstall, kill yourself.
Oh, sick.
Good Lord.
One of them went on my profile and started insulting my appearance, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, like you won, like chill. All I said was GG. And it's like, I don't know, because I played a lot of Dota 2, and there used to be a lot of stuff like that in that community.
Yeah,
but you could kind of explain it by going, it's a free to play game with mass global appeal, so like people from all over the world playing it, very different cultures, you know, that view people in different ways. And also that it's the time investment. People used to get so angry in Dota and League as well, is because if you're playing a ranked game, it could go on for an hour.
Yeah.
It could go on for an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and a half, like if it's really sweaty. Sometimes you could tell you were going to lose in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Because one of the players is really bad, for example.
Just feeding, yeah.
So that rage would almost be channeled from a place of, I know I'm about to waste the next hour of my life, and it's going to be miserable, and I'm going to be really upset by the end of it. But I can't do anything about it, because if I leave, I'll be penalized for leaving.
Yep.
Whereas with DBD, people have that same attitude, which they shouldn't, because the games are only 10 minutes long.
Yep.
And I don't know how they fix that, because even now, even in 2025, some of the toxicity I've seen is absolutely abhorrent.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, it used to be way worse. They put
It
a chat filter in so people can't say as. They have to be a bit more creative with how they spell things now.
Good lord.
But they still do. They still do. The worst experience I ever had, actually, which was a big reason why I stopped playing it, was it was my first year of streaming. And I used to actually stream DVD as like my main game. And I was streaming the game, and there was a hacker in the lobby, and the hacker had basically taken the game hostage, and they were just bullying the killer over and over and over, permanently stunning them, freezing them in place, doing all sorts of things to the killer, just making them miserable. And I just went, do you know what? Like, I'm not interested in showcasing this on my stream. I just left. I'll take the 5-minute penalty, which is what it was back then. You left one game, you got a 5-minute queue penalty. And I was like, fine, fair enough. Right, everyone, right, go to the toilet, make yourself a drink, whatever. I'll be back in 5 minutes. And then we carried on with the stream. And after about 10, 15 minutes, people started to come into my stream and said, why are you being racist? And I was like, what? So this hacker was so aggrieved that I didn't enjoy his hacking and wouldn't give him time of day. He had made his Steam profile a clone of mine. Like the blurb was the same, the profile picture was the same, username was the same, etc. And then just joining random public lobbies and spamming like really horrific racism and stuff.
Oh my goodness!
It's about 4 years ago now, thankfully. So I was just like, I just don't want to be a part of the community now. Like it's horrible. And that led to me discovering Phasmophobia, which has been very positive.
Every Clyde.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy. Like
That's mental. That is
like full unhinged behavior.
There's trolling and there's griefing, and then there's
psycho.
Psycho behavior, exactly.
Just going way too far. If you take something out of a game into the real world, that is, you need to stop, take stock, and go, what am I doing in my life?
It was so bad. I had so many people reporting me on Twitch. I had about 6 Twitch staff members sat in my chat watching.
Oh, my goodness.
And like it became very clear very quickly. Obviously, I wasn't doing any of that. And then I had a raid of about 2,000 people while it was going on from someone, from Limmy. And it was just a really like rubbish day. I'd only been streaming about 6 months. No, not even that. Only about 3 months. And like that's what I mean. Like when people take things personally in this community, they really take it and they hold a grudge and they are out for you. Like really gunning for you. And I don't get it. Maybe I'm just too old now. I don't know.
We're getting saged our old years, aren't we?
So someone said to me this morning, like I had like was it this morning or was it yesterday? I can't remember, but I had like a warm-up game and like, 4 people got out, but I wasn't fussed because I was just chatting and having my pumpkin spice latte, just chilling. And someone said in chat, like, how do you keep your cool? And I was like, what do you mean? It's just a game. Yeah. And they were like, what? What do you like? They couldn't wrap their head around it. They were like, but I get so upset when I play. It's like, well, that's the step you need to take. You need to just sit back, divorce yourself from it. Even though it feels really personal, just remember, like, it's not real.
Hi, these are just little avatars on a screen with a flashlight.
Yeah, who cares if they're bouncing up and down and clicking a flashlight? Like, who cares? It doesn't matter. Just be funny with it. Be funny with it. Like, it's very funny seeing a xenomorph queen nodding like that. Like, join in.
That's it. No, that's absolutely bonkers. Like, but you know what? That's it. It's in this situation when you do have to sort of take the rough with the smooth. This is with like every mass popular media outlet as well. But you have your own fun with the game and be better, DVD community. That's all that's
it. They haven't listened to anyone in the last 8 years. They'll listen to us now.
That's it.
They have no choice.
The buck stops here.
Do you think there's like a level of denial about it? Because when I see a lot of like DVD creators on like Twitter and stuff, and I never see them talking about the toxicity.
I think what that is depending on how ingrained you are in the community, you know, you can only view something from your lens, if that makes sense. So if you're a DBD sort of creator and you're not that way, then that's your lens of this game. It's fine. You might have the odd sort of, depends really, doesn't it? But it's a strange thing. I find the same with Dota and LoL. I tried to play both of those games, but you know yourself when you're learning, the community didn't bully me out, but I quickly learned I wanted nothing to do with them. I was like, I don't want to be associated with this game because the community is dreadful. But I think, yeah, I think there's a level of divorce. You know, that's not me. Therefore, I will defend this game. My experience is overwhelmingly good, which it is. I mean, there's some people out there listening to this going, I've played hundreds of hours in Dead by Daylight and never came across anything like that, which is totally possible. It is always a really small minority, isn't it? It's a strange one. It comes with everything, you know, online, the anonymity that comes with it, that's being slowly eroded. You know, it emboldens people into saying things that they would never in a million years say in real life to a person, but they're perfectly fine saying you a private message on Xbox Live or PlayStation Network, and they will tell you exactly what they think of you. It's strange. It's weird behavior. It's completely unjustified. You can't justify it. You know, I mean, yes, have I lost my temper at a game? Yes. Have I ever lost my temper with someone else playing the game because of the game? No, never.
Because you're a normal functioning
because
human
I'm
being.
a normal human being with a level of emotional maturity. It's bizarre behavior, but I have put some hours into it this month, and I really like this game. But you have those odd moments where you're just like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, like what the hell was that?
I don't know about this. You know, like, you know, even sometimes it's way more passive than the messages, whatever it is, where you're clearly trying to learn how to play this game, and the other players just, they lose the rag with you because you're new and you're learning.
Yeah.
And they just stop playing the game. Have you ever had that happen?
Oh god, yeah.
The other players just down tools and do nothing, just go idle, move every now and again so they don't get kicked from the game, and just let you run around trying to do everything and get murdered. And then once you die, then they start playing again. I've had that happen in this game a couple of times.
Get left on hook to die from the beginning.
Yeah, no one helps
First
you.
hook.
Yeah, that's why one of my survivor perks is the random chance to lift yourself off in your third hook.
Oh yes, that's right.
Oh yeah,
Comes in
slippery
useful
meat, isn't it?
sometimes. Comes in useful sometimes because there's players out there who will not help new players whatsoever. They won't abuse you,
They just all
but
pretend
they
you
will
don't exist
allow
on
the
that.
killer
Yeah.
to absolutely abuse you in the game.
Yeah.
And they'll just stand by and just watch it.
Crazy, like.
But yeah. But the good times, there's good times in this game as well.
Although there definitely is.
I don't. Yeah, it's like with any game people are passionate about. All the discussion always seems negative.
Yeah.
But it's just because people do care about these games and they do want them to be in the best possible state they can be.
Yep.
So you probably have listened to us for the past however long it is, and you look at any other discourse, like if you go on the DVD Reddit, for example, Jesus.
We do not recommend that.
And it seems like, you go on DVD Twitter, it seems like every other day there's some big drama. Someone's controversial in some manner, and you're just like, oh my God, what is wrong with that? Like, why is that game community just so riddled with constant drama? And I still don't entirely know why.
Yeah,
but,
it's unique to this one. It's unique to this one because I remember when Friday the 13th was shutting down the servers. They announced it like 2 weeks prior. And when it came to the server shutdown, there was thousands of players on. We're throwing a big party in the middle, at the campfire in the middle of the map. And then the game just went
Off the radar. Yeah.
off the radar. But it's unique to Dead by Daylight, this. To this level anyway, to this level. It's utterly unique to it, and I don't know how or why it was allowed to happen.
I have just loaded up the DBD Reddit, and the first article I went, is the Dead by Daylight community actually toxic? Quote, this article may contain spoilers.
I went in there and asked a question.
So, yeah.
And I was horrendously abused until they deleted it. And that was like 2 days ago. It was just like, my phone was just like, poof, poof, poof. And I was like, oh no, it's Reddit again.
It's the Hollow Knight fiasco all over again.
It was worse than the Hollow Knight. The Hollow Knight fiasco was funny. There were, you could tell there was the insults were hidden through comedy. That one, they were just insults. Just insults. Nothing but unrelenting.
The internet's a funny old place, isn't it?
It really is.
Bonkers.
But you say
so
those
I know
things.
What my evening reading's going to be.
It's wild in there. It's the Wild West, man. You don't want nothing to do with it. Right. Let's place this game on the tier list. The game, not the community. The community gets a D tier. I think it's easily it's a D tier community. But what about the game? The gameplay of Dead by Daylight. Where we're putting it? I'm still struggling. I'm stuck between two.
I'm going to kind of talk around the point before I make a solid decision for a minute, because I've literally played it day one, whatever it was, scrapped it, couldn't understand it, the internet connection couldn't cope with it. So I have to grade this in the here and in the now.
Yep.
Playing the Halloween events and playing the current event now with my builds, with my still in the learning phase very much so. I'm really, really loving what I'm playing.
Yeah.
And I know that once I get a firmer grasp on how totems work and offerings work and how I can start to stack my builds, I just think this is going to be one of those games I'm not going to put down anytime. It's going to be an A tier.
Okay.
For me.
Yeah. Understandable enough. Understandable.
Yeah. I've just something about it I've really, really enjoyed, and it's like,
it's a good game.
Ooh,
that's
let's
the thing
do more.
About it. I feel like this episode has been really negative,
harsh,
but this is a good game.
Oh, it is. Yeah, undeniably.
It is. But where are you going to place it, Kai?
It's a strange one because I have such a love-hate relationship with the game.
Yeah.
But when I really think about it, I think it's an S-tier game.
Oh, wow.
And the reason I say that is because there is no other game doing what DBD does, and there is no other game doing what DBD has ever done. A few have tried, and they've failed spectacularly. It's a game that's relatively easy to pick up, but incredibly hard to master. The longevity's there. People who have literally been ranking it. There's people with 9,000 hours in the game and stuff. Like, people love this game, and it's also, on a personal note, it's hard not to appreciate that I can play as Nemesis from Resident Evil 3 while chasing Ellen Ripley around Freddy Krueger's house.
Yep.
I mean, they're the crossover events we dream of, isn't it?
Yeah. While you've got Cheryl Mason from Silent Hill teabagging in the corner laughing at me, and you've got Rick Grimes clicking a flashlight at me, like it's like an Avengers level crossover, and it just works.
Yeah.
So despite what I've said about some of the issues with the things surrounding DBD and orbiting DBD and the community stuff and that, the game itself in a vacuum I think it's absolutely an S-tier game. It's especially once you get over the hump of being a new player, and you really start thinking about strategies and how you loop different tiles and how perks can synergize together, and maybe you can synergize perks with other players' perks as well, and bounce off of those. You can really, really find a treasure trove of incredible content there. Yeah. So I think for me it's an S tier. Wow. Despite all the other things.
Yeah. I was torn with this one. It's a strange one. So I've settled on A tier, basically because, just to echo what you two said, if you take the game and only the game, it's really good. Like, it's really good. It is utterly unique in the gaming space as well. There's plenty of pretenders have come and they have gone, and Dead by Daylight just goes from strength to strength to strength. The sheer amount of content in this game is staggering.
It's never ending as well. Like, there's never not going to be. I think I am going to probably front I want just the Jason X skin. Not Jason. I don't care about any of the Jasons. I want Cyborg Jason. That's all I want in this world is that skin on the spaceship.
But like, it's rare that you get a piece of entertainment like Dead by Daylight. It is literally a game that has infinite sort of options, from everything from your perks to your skills, to your items, to your teammates' skills, perks, items, to the killers, skills, perks, all that good stuff. And then even down to the maps as well, being procedurally generated. It's a lot of games in their marketing material go, this game is replayable. You'll have hundreds of hours. Like, this game could have, people will be playing this until the day they die. If there's never a Dead by Daylight 2, this game is probably never just going to extinguish, because there's just so much here, and there's so much that appeals to so many people. Yeah, there's people who play this game who only play it because Rick Grimes was put in it, or Lara Croft. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's an A tier game for me. I can't in good conscience give it an S tier because of the surrounding issues with it. But
sure,
I think it could do a better job of teaching new players how to play the game. I think that's my big sticking point. It's overwhelming, but it's an A tier game. I think it's really good. There's a reason this is best in class, and there's a reason why this has stuck around so long. That's because it's brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, there is one phrase we've not said tonight, which I think we have to. It's Fortnite for goth kids.
Yeah, it is.
It's Fortnite for people who work at Computer Exchange.
Do you have a body
never
modification?
Been a hook for an episode. I think that is it.
If you have a septum piercing and a tattoo of Freddy Krueger, you probably play Dead by Daylight.
That's it. Yeah, that's banger. That's the hook. For people who work at CEX, and for the people who work at CEX, I think it's time we get to the wrap-up section.
As we've been going, I've been time-stamping just little bits that I can snip it to the start of this, and just to plug the episode later in the week. And yeah, that takes it.
It is really Fortnite-y. And that is it, gentlemen. Another game of the month, all wrapped up. Dead by Daylight, universally loved, universally hated, all at the same time. It was a bipolar episode, I think might be the best way of describing it. There was a lot of good, a lot of bad.
But this is what I quite like about Game of the Month. Usually we spend the last year and a half, 2 years we've been doing the Game of the Month episodes. We've always been like high praise, high praise, high praise, and we seldom ever go into it. Whereas the game, there is a huge issue, pivot to be had, and a huge controversy of a game to discuss as well. So I really enjoyed that, and we're not going to fix the issues overnight, but we're certainly going to highlight them.
Big time. There's people out there who've never played it. You just know that the game's really good, but this is what you're letting yourself in for. Yeah, it's useful information, if nothing else. And speaking of useful information, if you would like to support this podcast, the best way of doing that is giving us a review on wherever you're watching or listening to this on. If you're on Spotify, 1 star to 5, whatever you think we're worth, that's what you give us. You want to give us a written review there? That's even better. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, hit the wee bell icon, never miss an episode ever again. And if you really, really, really want to help us out, just send this episode to a friend or family member who you think will enjoy it. That is the best way of getting eyes and ears on the podcast. That's my plugs done. Kai, I'm going to throw the mic to you, mate.
Oh, that's very generous of you. Thank you. So yeah, I am GhostKai. I'm a content creator. I predominantly stream on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/GhostKai, but you basically can find me as GhostKai on most platforms. I make content daily on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And, Instagram's where the bikini pictures are, so that's where you need to go. At the moment, I'm streaming a lot of Dead by Daylight, funny enough, as well as other games, because I've fully transitioned into variety now. So I'm streaming a lot of things like Jurassic Park Evolution 3 because I like dinosaurs.
Good stuff.
Who doesn't love dinosaurs?
Exactly. It's win-win.
And a good park builder as well. There's a lot to be said for it. We don't get them very often anymore.
No.
And when a good one comes out, it deserves to be highlighted. So it does. So yeah, so twitch.tv/GhostKai. Check him out. It's a really good time. It's always really good time there. So it is. And with all that being said, gentlemen, I don't know what game of the month is for next month. Oh, I do.
We do, yes.
Next month's game of the month is Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh.
A game I finally got round to playing. Cyberpunk 2077 is November's game of the month. So if you catch it, that'll be wonderful. Thank you very much for catching that. With all that being said, I finally have nothing left to say except I've been Mr. Luvva. This has been High Scores, High Stakes Game of the Month Club. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next month. Love y'all. Bye.
Bye. Auf Wiedersehen.